Alright guys, how you doing? It's Rabea, I hope you're all well. So I'm not usually one to do this kind of video, but it's been something that's been on my mind a little while, bothering me a little bit, so I figured I'd make this video. Essentially, it's a video complaining about complaining. So I'm aware from the get-go that this is slightly hypocritical.
You're a f***ing hypocrite. The f*** did you say?
However, it's been something that I've seen over the last, maybe year or something like that. A slight shift in the tone of the world of YouTube gear, guitar gear, gear demonstration, gear review, whatever you want to call it. To give you a bit of background, I've been reviewing gear for like the last 10 years or so. Something that I've had a lot of joy doing, been fairly successful at it, in the sense that people sort of trust my opinion on gear, and it's been really fun. I've had a lot of good relationships with different brands and things like that, and I'm well aware that I've also been in that sort of world, but for the last 18 months, maybe longer, I've been doing way less of it because it doesn't make me as happy anymore, and I don't get as much satisfaction out of doing it. And to be perfectly honest, my approach was always about being positive, pulling the positives, finding the silver lining, enjoying the gear, writing riffs with it, putting it into context, giving you a vibe, giving you a contextual demonstration so that you can see if it's going to work for your musical applications, whether it be in a band, as a guitarist, just playing at home, or for your own music and stuff that you like to record. That was always my main point, and I always communicated that I would only really look at gear that I knew I was going to enjoy, was going to get a cool sound out of, or it's something I was interested in. I don't think I've ever really made a video of a piece of gear that I was like, I don't like this, but I'm just going to do it anyway to get paid, or just because that comes across insincere. You upset the brands because obviously you're not telling the truth, and then of course the public also can tell that it's insincere and whatever. Yeah, I'd received my fair share of criticism for being too positive about gear. Oh, it's got a really nice feel to it. And never saying a bad word about it, which I think is fair enough because we're all entitled to our own opinions. It's all subjective. But as I said, my goal was always to try and contextualize the gear for you guys. But what's nice is that if you sort of hit a nice big root, and then you start playing over the top, because those repeats are going on for so long, it almost acts like a drone tone. So what I was doing there, playing, I mean, this is tuned to E flat, but so A flat or G sharp or whatever, you'd get. But anyway, in the last year, I've noticed a shift in the sense that everything just seems so negative right now. It's just complaining and whining and like having a go at and pulling apart gear or whatever kind of gear it is, whether it's a plug-in, whether it's an amp, whether it's a pedal, whether it's a guitar, whatever it is. All I see is like, what's the point in this? Who's this aimed at? Should we take this piece of gear seriously? Whatever it is. I just think, why so negative? Why so critical? I don't understand. I feel like it's sort of garnering this like overly negative community where everyone's ready to just pull something apart rather than maybe look at it for what it is, because everything has a specific job. Everything has a specific goal in terms of how you use it musically. At the end of the day, we're all here watching these videos because we're guitar players, we're interested in gear, we're interested in making music, maybe just playing guitar at home or being in a band. We all have similar interests, we're all kind of on the same page, and we watch these videos to work out if we want to try something out. But it feels nowadays like we're watching these videos to see who's going to snipe at who and who's going to like, and what's the point in this, and like find, you know, negative things to say about something. And there's also the confirmation bias of if you've bought this piece of gear and you watch a video where someone's sort of saying, yeah, this piece of gear is cool, that doesn't sound as good, it's not as good, there's, you know, like it's rubbish or whatever, then you're going to feel better about buying the piece of gear that you bought, which I understand the concept of, but I'm not really in agreement with that. I think you should be 100% comfortable with the piece of gear that you've bought because you made the choice to buy it, and you should have done the research or whatever, or it will have sounds in it that work for you. It will provide a use for you. If it doesn't, then sell it on, find something else. And I just feel like, what's the point? Why is there so much negativity around this now? I feel like we should just be concentrating on the thing that we're here for, which is to play guitar, to make music, to write music, to record music, and have fun. And like, it's a collective, like there's a community on YouTube of musicians that we should all be sort of like celebrating the fact that there is so much option right now. There is so much different routes to go down with gear. But for me, the mainstay, the main point above all else is how is it helping you? In what context? Like when I see a piece of gear on the internet, and I'm thinking maybe I need something like this, I want to see it contextualized in a way that's going to make me go, yeah, well, I do that kind of thing. I think that's going to work for me. I'll get hold of one and try it out. That should be the point. Instead of going onto videos and just being like, well, this person doesn't like it and I respect their opinion, so I'm not even going to bother looking at it. I think that's really irresponsible. It's unfair. And I think at the end of the day, when we're watching these videos, it should be to help us make decisions and help us imagine how it's going to work in our world, because we're all different. We all have different needs for this gear. It's worth saying there are so many options right now. We're in one of the best times for the amount of options that we have for us as guitar players, as musicians, as songwriters, as band members. You know, there are so many different options, and I think that's a really cool thing. You know, and it's also worth saying that, you know, it can't all be good. Like there's no perfect situation for anything. There's no perfect piece of gear or piece of software or like amp or pedal, whatever. It's yin and yang, you know, at the end of the day. Like it, you know, it can't be all perfect good. You know, like you can't go swimming for like non-stop because you probably drown, because you get tired. You know, you can't go running all the time because you might hurt your knees or get shin splints or something if you don't look after yourself. You can't skate for non-stop because you'll probably snap your ACL and then have to have multiple surgeries on both knees. There's always going to be something that isn't necessarily 100%, but at the same time, if the overall vibe is that, yes, this provides for what I need, you know, give or take something, like it might not have built-in reverb or it might not have a certain bit of functionality, but overall it's going to do the thing that I want it to do, or it resonates enough with me to at least check it out and try it in the context of what I do. I think that's the point. Somewhere along the way in the last couple of years, I feel like all it's become is just to snipe at everybody, pull everything apart. The first thing that we seem to be thinking now is what's wrong with it, rather than what can it do that's going to help me. And I just think we need to change that. We need to sort of look at things a little bit more positive. Maybe I'm just shouting at a brick wall with this. I mean, it's not going to change the way I see things. I always like to go into a situation looking at a new piece of gear or software and go, how's this going to work for what I do? How's it going to help? Like, what can I get out of this that's going to benefit me in my musical playing, writing, gigging career? You know, like what cool things does it do? rather than think, yeah, does it sound as good as this, or is it as good as that, or, you know, I don't know. It's just winding me up. So I thought I would share my opinions. Maybe it'll resonate with some of you people. And this isn't directed at anyone in particular. I just think as a collective, it seems that we've shifted from being excited about the possibilities that new gear and gear in itself and whatever it is has to help us. We're looking at it now in a more critical sense, and I just don't necessarily think that that's fun and nice. But as the title of this video quite clearly states, maybe I should just shut up and play my guitar.